I never imagined I would have to fight for something as personal as my own child's name. When I was 12, my grandmother gave me a small silver bracelet. Inside was a folded note written in her shaky handwriting. One day, if you have a daughter, call her Lily. It was the name I always wanted for my own little girl. She passed away a few weeks later. From that day on, I carried the note everywhere, through school, college, my wedding. It stayed hidden inside the same tiny box on my dresser. My husband Ethan knew how much it meant to me. We'd spent years dreaming about having children, and every time we talked about the future, we'd smile and say the same thing. If it's a girl, she'll be Lily. Even his mother knew. Looking back, that was probably my first mistake. Margaret had a strange obsession with being involved in everything. She wanted to choose our furniture, our honeymoon destination, even the color of our bedroom walls. When I became pregnant, it got worse. She insisted on coming to every doctor's appointment. She told strangers she was basically raising this baby. She even joked that she should be in the delivery room instead of my own mother. Everyone laughed. I didn't. Whenever I tried to set boundaries, Ethan would sigh. She's just excited. Those 4 words became his answer to everything. One afternoon, while I was 7 months pregnant, Margaret asked if we'd finally picked a name. I smiled. Yes, her name will be Lily. She stared at me for a second, then smiled. Pretty. That was all she said. A week later, her younger daughter, Ethan's sister, Claire, announced she was pregnant too. Nobody thought much of it until 3 months later. Claire gave birth first. Margaret invited the whole family to the hospital. When Ethan and I walked into the room, everyone was smiling. Then I saw the pink card hanging above the baby's crib. Welcome, Lily. I stopped walking. My heart dropped. I looked at Margaret. She wouldn't even meet my eyes. Claire laughed nervously. We just fell in love with the name. I couldn't speak. Ethan squeezed my hand. It's only a name. Only a name. The name my grandmother had carried in her heart her entire life. The name we'd chosen years before. The name everyone in that room knew belonged to our daughter. I left the hospital without saying goodbye. That night, I cried harder than I ever had. Not because someone had taken a name, because they had taken a memory. And my husband let them. The following weeks were unbearable. Margaret started calling her granddaughter the real Lily. She posted pictures online with captions like, "Our beautiful Lily, the first Lily in the family." Every post felt like another knife. Friends kept asking if we'd changed our baby's name. Some even assumed we'd copied Claire. I couldn't believe it. When I confronted Margaret, she smiled. Nobody owns a name. Maybe she was right, but she knew exactly what she was doing. 2 months later, our daughter was born. The nurse smiled. Have you decided on a name? I looked at Ethan. He looked down. Maybe we should choose something else. That sentence changed my marriage forever. I realized he wasn't protecting peace. He was protecting his mother. For the first time in years, I didn't ask. I didn't argue. I simply said, her name is Lily. The nurse wrote it on the birth certificate. Margaret refused to visit the hospital. She told relatives I'd named my daughter out of jealousy. Some believed her, others didn't. I stopped trying to explain. Months passed. Family dinners became impossible. Every time someone called Lily, 2 little girls turned around. Margaret would smile every single time, as if she'd won. Maybe she thought she had. But something unexpected happened. As the girls grew older, people started asking why they had the same name. Claire always looked uncomfortable, eventually. She admitted the truth. She confessed that Margaret had begged her to use the name first. She wanted to make sure I couldn't. The room fell silent. Nobody spoke. For years, Margaret had insisted it was just a coincidence. It wasn't. She planned it. She stole the one gift my grandmother had left me. That Christmas, Ethan finally looked at his mother and said words I'd waited years to hear. Enough. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was the first time he had ever chosen us. We left before dinner was served. We never attended another family gathering. Years later, when my daughter asked why her cousin had the same name, I handed her my grandmother's note. She read it quietly, then hugged me. I'm glad you didn't let anyone take it from me. In that moment, I realized something. Margaret never stole my daughter's name. She only delayed the moment my husband finally understood what family really meant.